I listen to the radio every day. I watch TV when I have time, but and I read magazines. I read a lot.
Media that I follow would be TV, internet, and newspaper. Follow the Athens news here, and the internet, random places, and TV, obviously, in the house. And I pay attention to sports greatly, and then politics, and current events, and also the weather.
Fox 8 and then the Cleveland Plain Dealer as far as newspaper goes.
I follow news media on TV mostly. I watch shows like The Daily Show and The Colbert Report, and then every once in a while I'll tune into like a legitimate Channel 4 news show.
Definitely more for information, just because the entertainment purpose, that's what YouTube's for if I'm using it like that way. But if I'm trying to, like, if I'm watching the news, I'm looking to see what's going on in the world, like what's being changed, what's being done, trying to hear about stuff I don't know.
Well, usually something that happened during the day or some interesting, like interesting things for me. Or usually when I watch TV, like some, I like to watch Discovery Channel or Animal Planet.
Usually I'm just watching for stuff that's going on in the world, usually more local events, just to keep me updated about the stuff going on around in my area so I can be aware of things like maybe a crime alert or maybe a kidnapping, keep my eyes open for that.
About half the time I have an opinion going into watching the program, and definitely if I have an opinion already, it's going to change the way that I follow the news, like the article, because I'm biased already towards it, so I'll think either good or bad about it.
I kind of just kind of like take a story in for what it is, like interpret it as it's being presented to you. Don't play a sides on it to start with. Just give it its own shot.
If I like already have an opinion on a story, then I usually go to the news stations that I know are going to give me more information about my opinion, how I can like further support that when I am talking to people. So for instance, like I'm a liberal and Fox News is very like right view, right wing based in all of their stories. So if I were to be looking for information on things that I believe, then I would not go to Fox News. It would be something totally like CNN or anything, pretty much anything other than Fox News. um, but so yeah, like if I'm looking for information about a story, then I'll go to sources where I know that my opinion is just gonna, it'll have more support for what I believe already. But if I'm kind of like on the fence about what I think about something, then certainly like those news sources can change my opinion as to what I'm actually thinking. Like if I'm kind of undecided on something, then certainly I will go to those stories and listen to what they have to say. I won't be completely blocked out or anything. I will be listening to that, and then if their argument is solid and enough to like persuade me to actually think that yeah, maybe that is the right way, then that is what I'll end up going with.
By the newspaper disappearing and like magazines and stuff disappearing, you're missing a lot of general resources. Newspapers reflect on most topics that other things don't go back to, like the news doesn't go back to, and it fills you in like a follow-up story almost. And by losing that, you're losing a lot of the sources of information that you have. And because it is just like a universal source for all kind of information, you're missing out on a lot of things.
I think that it's actually the newspaper isn't the one that's affecting the society. I think it's society that's affecting the newspaper because, like, especially people our age, like we are the now generation. We don't take the time to sit down and read the newspaper and drink a cup of coffee in the morning before we go to class. Like, it's just not how we work, and that's fine. Like, we're college students, but everything's changing, and even like older people are now getting into like we need it now. We don't have time to go through all of those other stories. Like you just are looking for what you're looking for, and it's adapting to us. Like the newspaper has now become like internet, and you can get text about it, and you can like read it where you are from your iPhone, like anything like that. You don't see people walking down the street holding big newspapers. Like, um, so it's really not how the newspaper is affecting society. Society has changed the newspaper, and that has been newspaper and journalism itself has been just something that's we're really stripping of people our age of the benefits of like listening and reading stories from Walter Cronkite and people that have had such huge impacts on journalism as we see it now. But we don't have any people like that anymore that are writing these expository stories or anything like that, because it's all, they are certainly still here, but it's not appreciated as much anymore, because whereas people would have to sit down and watch it on the news or read it in the newspaper in order to get the information, now they can just scroll on their iPhone and find whatever they're looking for and put it down. So the newspaper has changed because instead of it being something that you make time for, it's whenever you have time to get the news, you'll do it. It's not a
media is very important to everyone's lives. It's what's going on now. It affects us every day, and if we don't pay attention to it, I think that we'll just get left in the dust.
Really important, but it's good to know like what's happening around you. Like if there happen really big event somewhere in the world, it's good to know for your own benefit.
I think news-wise, it's very important. Just like I said, to keep updated about what's going on in the world. But for things like MTV, you shouldn't get too involved with that. Like it's fun entertainment-wise to watch, but then getting involved in your life is probably not a good idea since most likely a lot of things that go on MTV aren't based on real life. So entertainment-wise, media is cool. News-wise, it's great, but you shouldn't get too like caught up with media stuff.
I think it's really important for society to pay attention to the news on a daily basis, especially for people our age, because we have to start forming opinions on issues since we're all getting old enough to vote now and make our opinions count. We should definitely pay attention to the news and get all the different ideas so you can form an opinion.
I think it's like a vital resource because it conveys a lot of messages that you wouldn't get elsewhere. You're hearing about a lot of things that you don't hear from other sources.